If everybody wants to give them a warm welcome. Man, all these mature, emotional speeches from family, and then you just have me here. So, so I'm the best man. I am always a friend of Shai's, the best friend and best man. My name's Carson Vandergraaf. Yeah, I would like to just start by saying what a pleasure it has been to be a best man at Shai and Eva's wedding. The food and the venue and the wedding and everything was really good. You guys really hit it out of the park, so good job on that. You know, I'd like to say to Shai, you made me compete for this honor today. You know, I remember it was about 4 or 5 years ago, me and him were sitting in the parking lot at Hofstede's, I think waiting for Canada to get off of work. PGW, okay. Owned by the same person. Anyways. Where you turned to me in the car and you said, you know, Carson, I'm not sure I'd pick you to be my best man if I was married. I replied, I'm pretty sure you actually have to talk to a woman in order to get married. Both of us single guys then continued to spend the next hour and a half arguing over why or why not I wouldn't be chosen candidate.
I remember that.
Well, I ended the argument saying, fine, I just won't be your best man. Well, look how that ended. Here I am. Yes, over the past 6 months, Shai would call me, and he would always make sure to remind me to be working on my speech, saying he was expecting big things, talk about pressure. Well, you can imagine the disappointment when I told him I still hadn't started last week. So, over the past few weeks, I was looking back in my memory and trying to remember old memories. Maybe a few stories I could share. Even just trying to recall the first time we had met, which after doing some digging and talking with the parents, I found out that we were forced into this friendship through our parents while we were still in diapers. This also makes sense because the first core memory I have of Shai was him sitting in the front seat, picking his nose and eating it. It was at this point I knew I had to make a decision on whether or not this friendship was going to be worth going forward. Well, with the minimal bumps in the road, it turns out it was. And over the following years of our childhood, many core memories would be made. Days would be spent taking sketchy trips to the mall on the local Chilliwack transit buses, or walking to Dairy Queen for the 5th time that week, spending the entirety of our paper route money on ice cream and burgers. On long summer days, you could find us navigating the Chilliwack Slough by canoe, hoping to find local birds to use as target practice with the borrowed pellet gun we would acquire from the neighbors.
Would you drop in the creek?
Yes. I never thought growing up past childhood, our lives would take a separate paths. They did. My family and I moved away from Chilliwack in 2017, but even with the distance, we always made sure to have our visits and monthly phone calls. Our calls mostly consisted of us complaining about past jobs or filling each other in with the latest fumble with some girl we were too scared to make eye contact with. Visits were always a highlight. Shai would drive up to 100 Mile on many occasions to spend the weekend with family and I. And this is where I'm sure Shai was traumatized on many occasions by my dad yelling at us in his plaid underwear to shut up as we grinded out Halo Reach and Rocket League into the wee hours of the morning. After a few more years, I found myself in Kelowna. And this is the part of the story where Shai first told me about Eva. We were out for some sushi one night when he looked up at me from his plate and said, "Man, I got kicked off the youth group leadership at church." I asked him, "What crime did you commit for this to happen?" He then began to explain to me how he was falling in love with one of the youth group members, Eva. I was like, Eva? Because my last memory of Eva, she was like 10 years old, running around Valley Heights. I was like, what? This is when, of course, Josiah filled me in that people aged the same age. She was now 16. Cute. He then went on to break down the age gap math in front of me, trying to reassure himself in the process. No, he would say, I'm sure it will work out. And if it doesn't, it's not like I'm too attached to her yet. Yeah, okay, I said. I'm sure the guy who names his vehicles female names isn't already attached. The first girl to show you any significant interest.
I did that math too.
Yeah. And admittedly, not knowing Eva, I must say, maybe left me a little skeptical, but believe me, if Josiah had one mission, second tier, to marry her, it was to convince me that she was the one. And as the following months flew by, and Josiah's timely phone calls would come through, he would sit on the other end of the line telling me how wonderful his newly found treasure was. He would make sure to explain in detail all the date ideas and interactions with her at church. In short time, he had convinced me that Eva was indeed the one. And not long after, he was reinstated as youth group leader, and plans for engagement were on the horizon. And honestly, Josiah, I couldn't be more proud of your decision and the man you've become. Your deepening relationship with Christ and your commitment to trusting God's plans are evident in everything you do. Your dedication to prayer, scripture, and serving others is a shining example of what it means to live a Christ-centered life. I'm grateful to have you as my best friend and to witness the incredible ways God is working in and through you. From our childhood adventures to the mature, loving husband you've become, it's been a journey filled with laughter, challenges, and unwavering friendship. Seeing you with Eva, it's clear that you found your perfect match and your soulmate. You've navigated life's twists and turns with determination, and I have no doubt that your marriage will be filled with the same love, joy, and adventure that marked our friendship for all these years. And so with that, I would like to do a toast as well. We could raise our glasses to Josiah and to your beautiful bride, Eva. May your life together be blessed with endless happiness, profound love, and countless cherished memories. Cheers to the groom, my best friend, and to the incredible journey that lies ahead. Congrats, Josiah.
Cling, cling, ching, ching, ching. Okay, we have our sibling speeches next, so I hear Titus has a speech for us.
It already said
All right.